Hi, everybody.
Hello, Commissioner Davis. How are you? Thanks for joining us today.
Chair Butler, I may have to jump off right around 2 o'clock for about 20 minutes if we're still going, but I'll join back on if I can.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Davis. And we have a relatively short agenda today, so as compared to other meetings, so we may not need you to come back. But we shall see. Thank you for your flexibility. It's now 1 p.m. I will wait another minute or two before we officially start the meeting. As we need 2 more commissioners to join us so that we have an official quorum. I see a hand raised. Meredith Muir.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Would you be able to make Matt Richards a panelist as well? He's co-presenting with me.
Can tech support handle that?
Yes, and Meredith, since I didn't get the name of people, I made you a co-host, so you can also promote, but I'm going to promote. Sorry, what was the name?
Thank you so much.
I believe it was Matt Richards.
Matt.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He's here. Thank you so much.
I see Commissioner Cox is in the attendee group. Kamal, can you promote him to panelist, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Cox. We are 1 short of a quorum, and so we are waiting. The department is reaching out to several commissioners who confirm their participation, but who have not yet joined us.
Okay.
It's 3 minutes after 1, so we have time. And we have as compared to previous months, a relatively short agenda.
Okay.
And I see that Commissioner Gomez has joined us. So we have an official quorum. Thank you, Commissioner Gomez, and I will start the meeting. It is now 1:04 p.m. on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. Good afternoon, and welcome to the May 9th regular meeting of the Community Development Commission of Chicago. I am Gwendolyn Hatton Butler, chairwoman of the CDC and host of today's virtual meeting. On April 28th, 2023, Governor Pritzker renewed his executive order proclaiming that all counties in the state of Illinois as a disaster area. Section 7 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act allows the CDC, along with other city boards and commissions, to host virtual meetings during this COVID-19 public health emergency, provided that certain conditions are met. One condition allows the chair of this commission to determine if an in-person meeting on the scheduled meeting date would not be practical or prudent. To ensure that today's virtual meeting meets all conditions of the Open Meetings Act, I am hereby making the determination pursuant to Section 7E2 of the Act that due to the COVID-19 public health emergency, an in-person meeting would not have been practical or prudent today. Therefore, in accordance with the Commission's emergency rules, this meeting is being held virtually on Zoom and can be viewed live via the Commission's website. A court reporter is present today to record the proceedings. Commissioners, you have all been designated as panelists, which allows you to control your microphone. Please remember to place your microphone on mute unless you wish to speak. If you would like to be recognized by the chair, please activate the raise your hand feature and you will be called in order. The agenda for today's meeting was posted on May 5th on the CDC's website and physically in City Hall. I will now call to order the May 9th meeting of the Community Development Commission with a call of the roll. Commissioners, when your name is called, please turn your microphone on and respond by saying present. And please also indicate that you can hear me. Secretary Wheat, Commissioner Buford, Commissioner Chan McKibben, Commissioner Cox,
Here.
Commissioner Curtis, Commissioner Curtis, Commissioner Buford.
Present, and I can hear you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis,
Present, and I can hear you.
Commissioner Gomez,
Present, I can hear you.
Commissioner Griggs, Commissioner Thomas,
Present, and I can hear you.
and Chair Butler is present. We have a quorum. The first item on our agenda, request approval of the minutes from our previous meeting held on April 11th, 2023. The commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes, and if there are no corrections, I am looking for a motion to approve. Do I have a motion?
So move, Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Do I have a second?
Chair, how do I, slight correction? I'm listed as present and not present at the same time.
Okay, so we will correct that. You were present, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
I was like, wow.
all right. Yes.
But with that correction, I second the motion to approve.
Okay, great. Thank you, Commissioner Gomez. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote on each issue can be identified and recorded. Commissioners, please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. If you were not in attendance during the April 11th, 2023 meeting, please abstain from this vote. Secretary Wheat, Commissioner Buford,
Yes.
Commissioner Chan McKibben, Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis, Commissioner Davis,
Yes,
Commissioner Gomez,
Yes.
Commissioner Griggs, Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and Chair Butler votes yes. This motion passes. Commissioners, for our first item of new business, the Department of Housing and the Department of Public Health are seeking authority to acquire the former Diplomat Motel located at 5230 North Lincoln Avenue and 5200 West Farragut Avenue in the Lincoln Avenue Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area in order to make minor property renovations for the building to be used for the CDPH Stabilization Housing Pilot Program to provide behavioral health and housing support for people experiencing homelessness. Meredith Muir from the Department of Housing and Brian Rogers from the Department of Public Health will provide a brief description of this item. You may begin.
Thank you, Chair. Let me share my screen. I'm going to be co-presenting today with Matt Richards, who is the Deputy Commissioner at the Public Health Department. And I can walk us through. The Stabilization Housing Pilot Program is planned to be located at 5230 North Lincoln Avenue in the 40th Ward, which is in Alderman Vasquez's ward. The community area is Lincoln Square, and this is located along the Lincoln Avenue TIF. The building is an existing two-story California-style motel located along Lincoln Avenue. This is the neighborhood context. And zooming in a bit more, the project sits over 6 parcels, is currently zoned B32 with use as a motel. The land square footage is about 20,000 square feet, and the building's existing square footage is about 15,000 square feet. Currently, the existing owner is interested in selling the property to the city, and we have a signed letter of interest between the city and the seller for the site's appraised value at an acquisition cost of $2.9 million. The building has 46 existing units, and I will turn it over now to Matt Richards to talk a little bit about the overview and goals of this project and the design of the program that will take place.
Thank you, Meredith, and thanks to the Commission for the opportunity. My name is Matt Richards. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for Behavioral Health at the Health Department. So I oversee mental health, substance use and recovery, violence prevention, and healthcare for the homeless. I'm going to talk a little bit about this program. So this program is really based on lessons learned from programs we initiated during the COVID-19 pandemic, where we incorporated non-congregate housing with on-site services for persons at high risk of a negative outcome if they were to acquire COVID-19. So what we envision with this program is up to 40 non-congregate units with on-site healthcare and social service delivery, including primary care, psychiatric care, substance use treatment, case management, social services. We anticipate stays for clients of up to 3 to 6 months, the intent being to achieve healthcare stability before a person is transitioned into permanent supportive housing in the community. And we would be prioritizing unsheltered residents of the city who have histories of cycling across different types of systems due to their untreated health concerns. Next slide. When we look at the different referral pathways we would be using, we would be identifying individuals, as I said, who have histories of cycling across systems. So particularly emergency department and acute healthcare services, homeless services, and public safety services. And then for individuals who have that cycling pattern, we would be proactively trying to engage individuals based on compiling a list of patients who fit that criteria. We would also be using a community-based referral system that would prioritize residents who have that cycling history, who live in the adjacent communities of the site that we have in mind. So you see on the right-hand side, the acceptance criteria: the person needs to be unsheltered. They need to be identified as having untreated physical health and behavioral health issues. And then they need to have a pattern of cyclical utilization of services in order to be eligible for the program. Next slide. What is the benefit to the public? So there's a number of different benefits. So one is that we're prioritizing individuals that we know are at high risk of a bad outcome if they were to acquire COVID. This is a continuing part of our COVID response, that we're trying to limit spread of COVID in congregate settings. And so high risk populations that are prioritized for non-congregate settings, we know, and we showed during the pandemic through our hotel-based projects during the pandemic, that there was much lower rates of COVID transmission and bad outcomes when you use the model that we're describing here. In addition, we want to improve the health status of residents that are in this intervention. And we showed during the pandemic through the work that we did that you can do that. And we want to continue to do that for this patient population. It's a benefit to get folks who are unsheltered connected to the webs of services that they need in order to successfully live independently in the community. And too often with this population of persons, we're left choosing between shelters and independent living in the community. And the purpose of this program is to actually be a bridge that prepares people for independent living in the community. And then to reduce systems utilization. We know from studies that have been done that the 1,200 people in the city that cycle across systems frequently have spent $300 million in services over a 4-year period. So we're looking to also generate cost savings. You see on the bottom, the desired outcomes and the types of services. There will be obviously housing on site, primary care, mental health, substance use treatment, case management, and then on site property management and security. Next slide.
All right, I will take this last section. I think I failed to introduce myself. My name is Meredith Muir. I'm with the Department of Housing. This program has very much been a collaboration between the Department of Public Health and the Department of Housing as a supporting entity. And you can see there the financing for the program is divided between our two departments as well, with DOH's CRP funding supporting the site acquisition and the rehab financing, and CDPH's CRP funding supporting the ongoing site operations and property management. We expect the building to, in many ways, maintain its existing sort of layout. And so we don't expect rehab to be a significant chunk of time. With that in mind, the timeline to date is that we have selected a site based on the needs of the program. We have completed engagement with the Alderman's office, who is supportive, and the community and city partners. We are working right now to put out an RFP to select the property management and health services delegate, as well as select through task order processes and architects to bring on to support the site renovation and general contractors. We're right now going through the process to get acquisition authority for this site. We plan to go to City Council in June to get acquisition authority, and then we'll go through a plan development process. Once that is all approved, we will acquire the site and begin renovations with a goal of implementing the program by the end of the year. In summation, the overall request here is acquisition authority for the City of Chicago to acquire the former Diplomat Motel at 5230 North Lincoln Avenue for use as the stabilization housing pilot program site.
Thank you, Meredith and Matt. Meredith, for the record, can you tell us who the alderperson is for where this project is located?
Yes, this is Alderman Vasquez, 40th Ward.
And it's my understanding that we have the alderman's support, but he nor no one from his office is available to speak with us today. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, he was out this week. But we, I believe, included in the packet a letter of support from their office.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. And so at this point, we can now move to questions from the commissioners. Commissioners Meredith Muir and Matt Richards are available to help answer your questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Thomas.
Yes, can you go back?
Excuse me, Commissioner Thomas, before you begin, can we stop screen sharing so I can see the full commission, please? Thank you. Please, Commissioner Thomas, begin.
I actually wanted them to go back to the screen that shows where the money is coming from.
Okay, so start screen sharing again. I apologize.
Okay, acquisition funds. Acquisition funds, our bond and municipal bond funds, has that already been, has that deal already happened? Do you have the funds in hand to acquire the building?
We have the funds in hand. The deal has not yet happened. The funding is part of the Chicago Recovery Plan disbursement of funds that happened, like the allocation that happened last year, the year before. And so the funding has been set aside. It's under a funding bucket here at DOH for non-congregate housing. And so because that approval has already happened through the recovery plan, we don't need to go to City Council for approval of use of the funds. We just need to go through this council process for acquisition authority for the site.
Acquisition authority. Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Are there other questions from members of the commission? Kamal, I don't see any hands raised from the commissioners. Can you confirm that is correct?
No, Chairwoman, there's not.
Okay, great. Thank you. Meredith, if you can stop sharing your screen. Thank you. There are no further questions from members of the commission, so I would now like to invite members of the public who have used the raise your hand feature to be recognized. Each person I call upon to speak will be limited to 3 minutes per agenda items. So members of the public, if you would like to speak regarding this matter, I don't see any hands raised. Can tech support or the department confirm that is correct?
One hand raised just now, Chairwoman.
One hand raised just now. That is
Diana
Diana Sandoval. Thank you for your comments. You may begin.
Hi, this is Diana Sandoval. I'm a little late to the meeting, so I'm not sure if you went through the Pilsen TIF program that was proposed to expand.
The Pilsen TIF program is not on today's agenda.
Okay, great. Has it been removed from the agenda for future meetings?
It is my understanding that DPD had previously intended on introducing amendment number 4 to the Pilsen Tax Increment Financing District at today's meeting. The department, however, did not include that item on today's agenda and it is not currently under consideration by the CDC.
Can you double check? I believe that was amendment 2.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Should
I'm sorry.
the item move forward in the future, I certainly, and the commission certainly welcomes and encourages your participation and comments, but I would ask that any comments today remain focused on the matter that is currently under consideration.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Kamal, are there other hands that are raised?
No other hand raised, Chairwoman.
Great, thank you so much. If there are no further questions or comments regarding item A, I will now call the item to a vote. The resolution before us would provide the Department of Housing and the Department of Public Health with authority to acquire the former Diplomat Motel located at 5230 North Lincoln Avenue and 2500 West Farragut Avenue in the Lincoln Avenue Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. Do I have a motion?
So move, Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Do I have a second?
Second, Gomez.
Thank you, Commissioner Gomez. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's votes on each issue can be identified and recorded. Commissioners, please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. Secretary Wheat. Commissioner Buford.
Yes.
Commissioner Chan McKibben. Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis. Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gomez.
Yes.
Commissioner Griggs. Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
And Chair Butler votes yes, the motion passes. Commissioners, for the next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to advertise its intention to enter into a negotiated sale with the Spirit of Truth MB Church for the disposition of properties located at 3451 West Harrison Street in the Midwest Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to the Spirit of Truth Missionary Baptist Church if no responsive proposals are received. Taylor Thompson will provide a brief description of this opportunity on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Taylor Thompson, and I am representing the Department of Planning and Development. This project is, This project is the proposed market rate sale of 3451 West Harrison to the Spirit of Truth Missionary Baptist Church. The city parcel is located within the Midwest Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Area, within the 24th Ward with the support of Alderman Monique Scott. Community Development Commission approval is required for the sale of the property located within the redevelopment area. This slide provides an overview of the land sale project. The purchaser is the Spirit of Truth Missionary Baptist Church, ordained by Pastor Robert Patterson, who is also available here today on the Zoom call. The appraised value of the city lot is $7,000, which is also the purchase price. The current zoning of the property is M1-3, and the church intends to rezone to RT-4 with the help of a zoning attorney for planned future expansion of the church. As of now, the applicant intends to secure the city lot with fencing, and landscaping to prevent crime. The purchaser completed an environmental phase 1 assessment of the property and received clearance from the Department of Assets and Information Services for sale. There are no environmental conditions required for this land sale. This slide shows the location of the disposition parcel within East Garfield Park and within the Midwest TIF redevelopment area. The TIF district was created in 2000, and its redevelopment objectives included encouraging the redevelopment of underutilized properties. This above parcel map identifies the city parcel at 3451 West Harrison, outlined in red, and the applicant lot, outlined in yellow. The aerial map shows the location of the property. The city lot A is irregular and undersized and does not have access to the alley. B is the church, is the applicant's church building at 3447 West Harrison. This slide is the Google Street View, which shows the city lot and the applicant's church building to the east. Pastor Patterson established the church in 1979 and is a strong community advocate with an impactful presence in the community. In summary, the Department of Planning and Development has thoroughly reviewed the proposal for the sale of city property located at 3451 West Harrison to the Spirit of Truth Missionary Baptist Church. The department has reviewed its public benefits and the project's conformance with the redevelopment area plan. The department recommends that the CDC recommend to the City Council the approval of the city disposition of the property. Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. Taylor, do you know if Alderperson Monique Scott is on or is joining us?
I don't believe, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I don't believe they could make it today, but she did voice our support last week with the to the sale of Spirit of Truth.
All right, thank you so much, Taylor. I don't believe that there were any written statements submitted for this meeting. Can the department please confirm that is correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Thank you. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter as confirmed by DPD. We can now move on to questions. Commissioners, Taylor Thompson is joined today by Reverend Robert Patterson, the pastor of the Spirit of Truth Missionary Baptist Church. They are available to help answer your questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions? If you do, please use the raise your hand feature. I don't see any hands raised. Kamal, can you confirm?
No hands raised, Chair.
Thank you. There are no questions from the members of the commission, so I would now like to invite members of the public who have used the raise your hand feature to be recognized. Each person I call upon to speak will be limited to 3 minutes per agenda item. Kamal, I don't see any hands raised.
No hands raised, Chair.
That is correct. Okay, thank you. If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will now call the item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with the Spirit of Truth MB Church for the disposition of properties located at 3451 West Harrison Street in the Midwest Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to the Spirit of Truth Missionary Baptist Church if no responsive proposals are received. Do I have a motion?
So move, Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Do I have a second?
Second, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote on each issue can be identified and recorded. Commissioners, please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. Vice Chair Wheat. Commissioner Buford.
Yes.
Secretary Chan McKibben. Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis. Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gomez.
Yes.
Commissioner Griggs. Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
And Chair Butler votes yes, the motion passes. Commissioners, for the next item of business, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to advertise its intention to enter into a negotiated sale with Sustainabill LLC 2149 for the disposition of the property located at 2151 West Adams Street in the Central West Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to Sustainabill LLC 2149 if no responsive alternative proposals are received. Ernest Bellamy will provide a brief description of this opportunity on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development. Ernest, you may begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Good afternoon, Chairwoman and members of the Commission. For the record, my name is Ernest Bellamy with the Department of Planning and Development. As mentioned today, I bring forward a proposal for a market rate land disposition with environmental escrow at 2151 West Adams. The property is located within the near west side at 2151 West Adams, the 27th Ward, Alderman Walter Burnett Jr., covering approximately an area of 2,500 square feet within the Central West TIF. The market rate sale is for $81,000 with a environmental escrow to Sustainabill LLC for a project with a total development cost of approximately $1.7 million. A bit of the context of which the disposition lies is within the southwestern portion of the near west community area. Kind of zoomed in, this is within the 2100 block of West Adams, between roughly South Hamilton and South Levitt Street. The property is zoned RM5, and the developers of Igor Petrushak and Andy Stat are on the line as well as their architect, John Hanna of Hanna Architects. Some of the neighborhood context within this portion of the near west side is a predominantly residential portion of various residential typologies ranging from townhomes to 3 flats. Again, in this view, you can see the lot as outlined in red along West Adams looking south. The city lot dimensions are 20 by 125 for a total square footage of 2,500 square feet. Adjacent is a private parcel 2149 West Adams, which is currently owned by the developer. Overall, they would be looking to combine both parcels, the one we are speaking of here today for disposition, with their private parcel for their proposed development. Here are proposed elevations for the proposed development. In line with the RM5 zoning, the applicant is proposing to build a 3-story, 6-unit market rate development with 4 parking units in the rear, in a rear garage. The elevation also is predominantly of a 2 tones of iron spot brick. How this fits within the context of the greater block of the 2100 block of West Adams, you can see here on the screen, with the surrounding context of townhomes and 3-unit developments around. Working in the area since 2008, the developer is heavily involved in the area. Here are some examples of the developers work within the West Town community area and the near West Side community area. Again, for context, within the block, site plan shown here represents how the development would fit in context with the block, as well as how their garage would fit along the alleyway. And for brief context, I'll give a representative image of the first floor plan that kind of shows, that does show the garage layout, as well as the first floor unit for the development. Overall, the building has a mirrored floor plan unit layout that mirrors the front and back unit layouts. First floor being unique of being 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and upper floors being 2-bed, 2-bath layouts. In conclusion, the Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the materials submitted by the applicant and recommends that the CDC approve the market rate land disposition of 2151 West Adams.
Thank you, Ernest. I believe, Ernest, that this proposed project is in Alderman Burnett's ward. I don't believe that he is on with us today. Can you speak to his level of support for this recommendation?
Yes, the alderman was scheduled to be here today. He is in support of the project.
Right, thank you so much. I don't believe that there were any written statements submitted on this matter for this meeting. DPD, can you confirm that is correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Thank you, Tim. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions from members of the commissioners. From members of the commission. Commissioners Ernest Bellamy is joined today by Andrei Stepyuk and Igor Petrus from Sustainability. They are available to help answer your questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions? I don't see any hands raised by members of the commission. Kamal, can you please confirm that is correct?
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you. Given that there are no questions from members of the commission, I would now like to invite members of the public who have used the raise your hand feature to be recognized. Each person I call upon to speak will be limited to 3 minutes per agenda item. I don't see any hands raised. Okay, I'm sorry. Wendell Hudson has raised their hand. You may begin.
Yes, hi, this is Wendell Hudson, a reporter with the Chicago Business Journal. My question is with this item, if I'm understanding it correctly, this is an empty lot that the city owns and it is going to sell it to Sustainable so that they can then merge it with the adjacent lot and build housing. This is not a lot that will be put up with an RFP to see if there's any other developers interested. Is that correct?
Good afternoon. For the record, again, Ernest Bellamy with DPD. This is correct. We're seeking out. We're seeking to advertise the lot for disposition if no alternative proposals come in within the time allotted. We will sell to Sustainabuild.
So just to confirm then, if you're going to issue an RFP and if a developer responds to that with a different proposal, maybe you get 4 or 5 proposals, that then those proposals will be considered. But if you don't get any responses, then you're prepared to sell it to Sustainable.
So it would not be an RFP. It would be, so we have advertised within the Tribune our intentions to dispose of the city lot. And it is up to those who see during the open period the advertisement for it, if they have any alternative proposals for this lot to submit to us by our deadline.
Okay. And so this will be advertised on the city's website as well?
So this would be advertised in the Tribune. I would add that we have previously advertised this and no applicants have submitted anything during that period when we started the process of going forward with this disposition. In terms of the applicant submitted a letter of interest and being that they were willing to pay for the remediation of the land, we presented it forward for advertisement to seek alternative proposals.
Okay. And I don't mean to keep going.
I'm sorry,
I know
Mr.
my
Hudson,
time is up.
the 3 minutes of time period has passed. Thank you for your questions. Much appreciated. Are there questions from other members of the public?
No other hands raised, Chairwoman.
Thank you. There are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us. I will now call item C to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Sustainabuild LLC 2149 for the disposition of the property located at 2151 West Adams Street in the Central West Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to Sustainabuild LLC 2149 if no responsive alternative proposals are received. Do I have a motion?
So move, Latasha Thomas.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Davis.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're curating, but they have all these ideas.
I said second,
They know what
Commissioner
their
Davis.
sections
Okay,
look
thank
like.
you. Thank you.
I do
Commissioner
want it to
Davis.
look like.
Can I ask folks to go on mute and come off when you vote? Thank you. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote on each issue can be identified and recorded. Commissioners, please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. Vice Chair Wheat, Commissioner Buford,
Yes.
Secretary Chan McKibben, Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis, Commissioner Davis,
Yes. Sorry, I was on mute.
Commissioner Gomez,
Yes.
Commissioner Griggs, Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Yes.
and Chair Butler votes yes. The motion passes. Commissioners, this was our last item on today's agenda, and I would now like to request a motion to adjourn. But before I get a motion to adjourn, I'm sure everyone wants to adjourn. Let me just say that we will, by all indications, be meeting for the first time in person after 3 years during next month's meeting. So as far as we know at this time, there will be no virtual option. And so therefore, we look forward to seeing everyone I believe we will probably still be meeting in City Hall. I'm not quite sure just yet exactly which room just yet, but we look forward to being together in person after 3 long years next month.
Can't believe it's been 3 years.
I know, that's quite
Incredible.
amazing. And that's quite amazing. And let me just say that I believe the commission has done spectacular work in this virtual format. And we really appreciate everyone's
Yes.
participation and just willingness
We just need the sound guys to like.
to lead.
One site.
I thought there was someone in the background saying, yes, we've done.
Yeah.
But no, we really appreciate everyone's patience as we became more familiar with this process, and our productivity has been, I believe, at an all-time high. So thank you. But we do look forward to getting together in person beginning next month. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Or is anyone opposed to adjourning the meeting? No one's adjourned.
If we must adjourn, I make a motion.
All right, great. And I second, and we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Yeah, happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you.
Happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.